Ahoy, mateys. This is Emmett. He's
Hello.
giving me a private tour because the people that were scheduled at 2 actually got their tour this morning at 11. So I am really fortunate that I'm getting a private tour of the Red Roof Inn. No, Red Top Jail. We'll worry about the motel chain later. We'll leave the lights on. Wait, that's Motel 6.
That is Motel. This structure was built in 1895 out of locally quarried granite. We don't know exactly where the quarry was, but it was here in Llano County. At that time, Llano's population swelled to about 20,000 people. There was iron found up in the hills, and so it became a boom town. So a lot of rough and rumble guys came in trying to get rich quick and try to make a buck however they could. So Llano needed a bigger, more ominous jail than what they had. They had a small jail. So this structure was built. All of the ironwork was actually manufactured in St. Louis, Missouri, shipped down by boat to probably Houston, then by railway over here to Llano Station, and
Cross the river there.
Cross the river on mule teams.
Okay.
And then reconstructed upstairs and outside.
Very cool. I would have guessed that the ironwork was added later, but it's part of the original building.
It was built, and then they actually ordered the ironwork out of a catalog from a company called Pauley Jail Company, which actually is in business still today.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yes, so if you want to come on in.
And if I want to build a jail, I just call up Pauley.
Absolutely. This is the office area. The sheriff would bring in a prisoner here. The jailer would log them in and then take them upstairs to where the cells are. This building was about to fall apart when the Friends of the Llano Jail took it over. There were 3 towers actually, and they were started separating, so we put steel rods in there and pulled them back together.
Okay.
In 2011 we had a really bad freeze. We had busted pipes. The floor was severely damaged. The jail was settling and again falling apart. In order to stabilize it, we had to take out all of the old wood flooring. Here's some of the floor joists that were underneath there. Put in 23 concrete pillars and then pour concrete on top of it. So we have a concrete floor today.
Big project.
We just recently acquired some funding, and we have a contractor that's going to come in and put in period correct flooring, wood flooring on top of it. So
wow. Maybe do a little plastering or something too?
we've talked about maybe just painting the walls, but we've had a lot of people say just leave it like it is because of the old patina.
Okay.
So we're not sure.
It's not falling down, that part, so that's good.
Some of the plaster was falling off and that kind of thing, which has kind of been repaired. The downstairs area, which I'll show you first, was actually the jailers and their family. They would live here on the bottom floor. My grandparents actually were the jailers here in 1966, 67.
Really? That's cool.
So I was 10.
So the jail was
old.
still used in the 60s?
It was used until 1982.
Okay.
At that time, I think the Civil Liberties Union said no, it wasn't good enough for people to stay in. But anyway, and there was a steel door here, just like this steel door that leads up to the cells, that separated the office and the rest of the jail from the family residence.
Right, that makes sense.
And these walls are super thick inside.
Yeah, look at that. That's over a foot. Over a foot thick.
And one reason, and they're all made out of stone, with plaster over the stone. And you can see the ceiling, the original ceiling, made out of corrugated metal with I-beams, and then concrete poured on top of it in order to support the cells that are upstairs, because they're very heavy.
I'm familiar with what you were talking about, using the cable to pull things back together. I've actually had a hand in doing that to a log cabin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was falling into the river, and we tied it back together and, and saved it.
That's
Yeah, it was built on an island in the middle of a river up in Michigan.
oh man,
Yeah.
I bet that was so messy.
Yeah, it was quite the project.
This room,
The Bible? That's the Bible, right? Yep.
it could be used by whatever the jailer and his family wanted to use it for. When my grandparents were here, this was the spare bedroom or the guest room. The furniture that's in it was donated to us by the Daughters of the Republic of Texas. They used this building for a short period of time after the jail itself closed.
For meetings and that type of
For
thing?
meetings and that kind of thing.
Cool.
And the Llano's Head Start program used it for a year or two.
This would be a good place to teach history.
Yeah, it would.
Have we ever opened the safe?
We have. When we opened the safe, the only thing that was in there was one of the old jail logs dated back to 1940.
Whoa.
And the keys to the cells
Wow.
are in there. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Is there anything that talks about the jail at the museum across the river?
Yes, there should be, and there also.
Lily and her boyfriend, well, wait, I don't think he's her boyfriend, but her friend, they want to take me to the museum this afternoon. Look at this case.
The museum is a nice place to see.
Oh my, this is
We're
amazing.
working on a new website. There's a little information on there, but it's under construction. It's not really anywhere complete.
My website's under construction too.
This room, again, could be used for anything. When my grandparents were here, this was my aunt's bedroom.
I think we have company.
I think we did.
Or it's spirits. Could be spirits.
It could be. You never know. Hi, can I help you?
Is that open for just walking around?
We're just starting a tour. If you guys want to join us, it would be great. We ask for a $10 donation each.
She's got the cash. I've only got a couple bucks, so she's got more than I do. I was like, oh, it's open. Let's just go walk in. I didn't think about donations, so.
It's kind of like me this morning. I knew about the donation yesterday, so I get up this morning.
I got $7. That's all I
I'll
got.
take that.
Well, I was looking at it. I better go to the bank.
Yeah.
Banks are closed.
The only way,
Fortunately, the ATMs are open.
the only funding we have is from donations and some fundraiser projects. So I was just telling Jack that it took a lot of money just to save this structure. It was falling down. We actually took out a mortgage in 2011, 2014, because the building's it's disrepair. We had a big leak. There was a big freeze in 2011. There was a lot of water damage. The building began to settle, so we took out a mortgage to do what we could to stabilize the building. And that's why you're standing on concrete floors, because that was part of the stabilization process. We do have a contractor that's going to come in and do period correct wood flooring on top of the concrete.
Wood floor, is that why it's still wood floor now?
Yes, that's correct.
I hope you're not uncomfortable. I am filming for YouTube. Okay. I'll get you my card and my sticker later. It's over across the street.
Okay. This is actually, the bench is actually made out of some of the old floor joists that were
I gotcha.
under there.
2x12s.
Yeah. Full tube.
Yeah.
You mind if I catch them back up, Jack?
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I got plenty of film.
Okay, the building was built in 1895. At that time, Llano became a boom town. The population swelled to 20,000. So it was a rough and tumble time. You know, we still had cowboys carrying sidearms and all of that. And
Still do.
people coming in to try to get rich quick. So Llano felt like it needed to make a larger, more ominous structure to not only to house a bunch of prisoners, but maybe deter some of them. So that's why this building is here. Quarried out of local granite. They did have to bring in Scotsmen to do the mason work because the local masons were Germans and all they knew how to do was limestone.
Huh.
But
That's interesting.
That's where we're at today. There was a metal door right here, just like this one, to separate the downstairs from the prison area. This is the office. The jailers and their family actually would live downstairs and take care of the prisoners upstairs. My grandparents were jailers here in '66 and '67.
Short-termers, wise people.
They did a lot of things. I mean, mostly cowboying and farming and ranching kind of thing, but he was a jailbird.
Maybe you got.
Did you visit them when they were?
Yeah, I was about 10 or 11 years old, so yeah. And we had a big extended family, and we spent a lot of time with our grandparents. They were like Big Mama and Big Daddy, you know. So
Gotcha.
it was great. So if you want to follow us back, we'll see the residents.
Emmett, you didn't introduce yourself, I don't think.
I did not think. I'm Emmett.
I'm Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
And I'm Curtis.
Curtis. Nice to meet you.
They call me Captain Jack.
Captain Jack.
Captain Jack, all right. Just call you Captain.
Yeah,
This room-
that'll work.
This room could be used as anything that the jailers wanted to use it for. When my grandparents were here, this was the spare bedroom, or guest bedroom. The Daughters of the Republic of Texas used this building once after it shut down. It was functional until 1982. So after that, they used it for a little while. They donated this furniture to us.
The organ work.
No, it doesn't. I tried it earlier.
Well, you just gotta pull the stops.
The safe, we had the combination to it. When we opened it up, there was an old log book in there dated back to 1940, and the original jail cell keys were in there. And that was it.
Does it
No
open-
gold bullion or
Does it
anything.
open right now?
It does if we had the combination, but I'm not trusted with that, I guess. I don't know.
I got you.
So does the sewing machine sing?
I don't know.
I don't think it's a singer or it would be on the plate.
Not all of them had this cover like this.
That's nice.
Most of them that you see, the sewing machine would fold over.
That's correct,
right, and
yeah.
They could use it for a table.
Yeah, my mom had a treadle, but it was a singer.
I bet you that still works.
I bet it
I
does.
bet it does too.
Just a little bit of movement of the pedal.
Yeah.
If you notice the ceilings, these are original metal, corrugated metal with I-beams, and there's concrete poured on top of that, just in order to support the cells,
Okay.
because they're very heavy, and you'll see that in just a little
And
bit.
it's arched for strength.
Yes, sir.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
if it's under compression, it's gonna bow out to the sides, and if it hits the I-beams, it'll go out the
Mhm.
sides and transfer its weight to the walls.
To the walls,
Absolutely.
yes, correct. You're an engineer, you're an engineer too.
Well, I'm an architect, but I actually was gonna ask that and go, that's not original, is it? But when you said that, I was like, okay.
Yes, sir.
The smoke detector is not original, sir.
Those are required by insurance.
Yeah.
And if y'all come this way, you'll notice the thickness of the walls.
Yeah.
That also supports all of the weight upstairs.
I'm gonna take a picture of that safe next to you. Oh, you're fine, you can go ahead and
And,
if you want
Oh,
to.
I'm all right.
Was this one, like, have you just started doing tours?
I've been on the board for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can do anything with these.
He's right, it doesn't play.
So he's doing it for his YouTube channel.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I'll get you a sticker and a card when we get done.
Okay.
The walls
Plaster.
are stone with plaster on top.
I don't want anybody getting from cell to cell or wall to wall, room to room.
Yeah.
And also.
Well, with the big, heavy steel doors.
This is support all over
The weight above.
top.
It's built better than Alcatraz, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Again, this was whatever they wanted to use it for. This was my aunt's bedroom, whose husband had gone off to war in Vietnam. She moved in with my grandparents, and while my grandparents were here, this was her room.
So when they lived here, the wood floors were still
The
here?
wood floors are still here. It wasn't until 2011, after the big freeze on the, where are y'all from?
That's where it was.
Dallas.
Yeah. It is in there too.
This bunk came from upstairs. Originally, all the prisoners actually slept on hammocks, which we actually found one of the original hammocks. we'll show that to you in a minute. But later on, they put these bunks up there. Still not very comfortable. You can ask my brother.
Doesn't look good.
He stayed up there one time.
It looks more comfortable than the one I slept on, because I did spend the night a few years ago in a jail. Wasn't fun.
These items were donated to us and they have some historic value. They don't necessarily have anything to do with the jail, but we thought it would be nice to display them.
Oh, sure.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. Bless his heart, he's been wounded twice. This,
They had him too close to that restaurant up the street.
he was out in front.
The Hungry Hunter.
There was a big pecan tree out there. A limb fell on it and broke it. And it was put back together, placed back outside, and then a bigger limb fell on it.
Oh, gosh.
It wasn't meant to be for him.
But this was the kitchen. Originally, it would be a wood stove. The prisoners ate a lot of venison because the game wardens would, if they confiscated a deer or something, they'd bring it over here.
Yeah.
When my grandmother was here preparing meals, she had a gas stove, and they would put the meals on steel trays and put them through that slot right there in the hallway. The jailer would walk around and grab the trays and take them upstairs.
I'll be darned, that's cool.
No getting through that hole, really.
No, I don't think
Your
so.
arm could get through that, that's about it.
Yeah.
And most of them should be in their cells anyway.
True.
I remember my grandmother, one lunch she made them was bologna sandwiches, chips, and cherry Kool-Aid, which was the same thing us kids were gonna have.
A delicacy.
But they did eat pretty good sometimes. I think they got biscuits and gravy for breakfast sometimes.
You got a Barbie doll collection going on?
Serve the time, get the venison, and enjoy the meal. Hey, why not?
Right?
So the ball and chain around the deer's ankle, is
Yeah.
that something from here?
I'd say
No,
it's symbolic.
It's not even metal, I don't think. But yeah, it's just supposed to resemble them.
It's metal. I don't think it's very heavy though.
You should
I'm sure it's
play it
hollow.
out for the camera.
I'm sure it's hollow. Let's go this way. My grandparents used this for the living room. We had a large extended family and we met with our grandparents all the time. And I remember a couch here and people everywhere. But
And were there prisoners upstairs at the time?
yes, sir.
Wow, that's amazing.
There wasn't as many probably as there was in the early 1900s.
Right,
But, there could be 3 or 4 up there at any given time.
right,
And there was always someone up there on the weekends.
right. The drunk tank? Yeah, the drunk tank. I did read that somewhere, that there was a drunk tank.
There is. This room was one of the larger rooms. It was my grandparents' bedroom. One of the things interesting about this room is the podium, those desks, and these benches came out of the old Doolittle School, which was Llano's black school early on. It was located up here on the hill by the cemetery. After years and years, they moved it. The structure, it was closed down at that time, moved the structure behind the jail. It became in such disrepair that finally it was just bulldozed down. But we managed to save some of the furniture out of it because of its historic significance. When was it, 62 or something, when segregation ended, the last teacher, her name was Dolores Ravada. I remember her well. Her stepson and I went to school together. She later, after the school closed down, started teaching in the Llano school system. She was a really nice lady. She raised a lot of kids that weren't hers. This is the cornerstone out of that building. It was, you can see it was built in 1911. But it was a school and a chapel. That's the pews.
Gotcha.
Is one of the pews as well in the entryway?
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions on the downstairs?
No. No, it makes sense that if you're having a bedroom and you have a fireplace in it.
Mm-hmm.
That was, it's one thing I left out. Originally, there was no electricity or no plumbing until the 1920s. Even downstairs, the only heating was, there's fireplace here, and then both these other bedrooms.
So then went to an outhouse?
There was an outhouse out back.
Of course, upstairs it would have been
Upstairs,
chamber
they used a
pots.
bucket. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So y'all want to see the upstairs?
We paid to play. So to speak. Yeah, we saw the door open and I was like, oh, let's go look.
It's all my fault. I left it open. I think there might have been a stove on the other side of this,
Yeah.
or heating stove, only because of the ductwork that, or evidence of ductwork that goes through the floor above us. Hey Emmett, are these the original meal trays? I'm wondering.
Thank you.
That's up and away.
Did we lose Captain Jack?
No, I'm right here. I was looking at those trays in the slot.
Oh, uh-huh. Yeah,
Are those original?
And you can see that they could padlock it shut when they weren't serving the meals.
So nobody could throw a firebomb through it.
So somebody's flinging
I'm going to ask you to watch your step, and please hold on to the handrail. These are the original steps.
Are they the code? I'm kidding.
The handrail is freezing. In code,
pretty close to code.
current insurance company said y'all need to replace that.
And did you say?
We can't. It's a historic structure. It has to be left original.
So that's when you go to Texas.
Okay.
Wow. Vertigo.
And this area, they actually could keep 4 prisoners in each cell. This side was reserved for the women prisoners. When they did have women up here, they'd put a sheet or a blanket or something up there to give them a little more privacy. According to the logbook, there were women in there from anything from prostitution without a license. You had to have a license back then.
Okay.
Learn something new.
Drunk,
Yeah.
disorderly, and attempted murder.
Okay.
So they were pretty rough women too. I was talking to my brother today, and I asked him, which cell did you stay in when he was fighting down on the local bar back in his younger days? He said, well, when you first come up the stairs, I was right in that one right there. So this is where he's been.
This is the end of part 1. We'll resume part 2.